Hey guys, welcome back.
Hey y'all.
Me and Sophia are here and we have a very special episode today.
We're so excited, guys. This is Ainsley Deeble, aka one of my book besties. And oh my gosh, we love you, Ainsley.
We're stoked.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Oh my goodness.
This is so exciting. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's like 9 p.m. for us here in the States. Ainsley, tell everybody where you live, where you are, what's going on.
So I'm on the other side of the world to these gorgeous humans right here, and I'm in Queensland in Australia, and it's currently lunchtime. It's midday at the moment for me. So sun's out, 32 degrees outside. So
Amazing.
We were trying to link up with Ainsley on Zoom and we were trying to figure out times and everything. Y'all in America, did you know that there is a time zone in Australia? We didn't know that. Wow. And she was telling us that the place that she is the only one that is different, right? Different time?
time zone within a time zone. So part of the country decides to opt into it, and we just went, sorry, mate, no, we're not doing it.
No, I just can't. I literally don't like. That's so wild.
No, like one of those, what was the reason?
No, literally.
To confuse us all. I don't get it. But no, it's been a mission, but we got here and we're all here.
We did it. We linked up. You and I, Caitlin and I have had coffee. You had a chai, you said. So we're all a little, I think, energetic right now. So that's going to be the energy for this episode. But we're so excited. I am just, first of all, so excited like that you're here and that like, first of all, shout out TikTok for like connecting us, you know, the BOOKTOK community. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, like, I guess to kind of tell everybody, like, when did you kind of get started on TikTok? Like, I want to know kind of how you got back into like read or how you got into reading, but also like, when did you kind of find BOOKTOK as like a thing? Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but like, how did that get started for you?
Yeah. So reading as a kid, I would say was my favorite thing in the world, but I'm talking like 5 years old to 8. And then I think school, sports, that all took the priority. And I don't think I definitely went through the Twilight phase, like I think we all did. And I went through the Maze Runner, Hunger Games, Divergent. But again, after that sort of passed, didn't touch a book again. And then I think it was just before COVID, I followed one BookToker because at the time I was making, just for fun, as things were starting to shut down, I was making astrology content on another account just for fun. And
that's so funny and not even related to BookTok at all.
Not even a little bit. And I was following one BookToker because she made some Harry Potter content that I was really enjoying and just like a bit of montagey stuff. And she started talking about this series called Akatar. And it was just starting to close down. All the retail stores were starting to like close their doors. And after work one day, I kind of just bit the bullet and I said, what the hell? I'm just going to go and see what this book's all about. And it didn't even occur to me to buy books on Amazon, like a little like naive Ainsley. I wouldn't buy books on Amazon, but I went and bought the box set of A Court of Thorns and Roses. A Court of Thorns and Roses.
You got the whole box set to start? Like you got all of them?
You don't understand here. The series, this was a peril. The shops were shutting down. And I was like, what if I can't get the other books? So it was probably about $60 and a little bit for me. I was like, what if I don't like reading? I haven't read a book in I don't know how long. And the second I picked it up, it was like working an old muscle that I forgot how to use. But I just remember, and it was great because it hadn't quite blown up yet. And I think that was the best thing about it, was because I had no expectations. I just went in because I thought this will be a fun little escapism. I'm going to be, locked up in my place. To and from work is pretty much the only thing I'm going to be able to do. And this was just the most perfect escapism for what was otherwise just a bit of a, strange time in the world. And from there, it was just the more consuming. I didn't even look on BookTok for anything else for a while until then. I think it might have been It Ends With Us was probably the next book I picked up, as we probably did, but it kind of just went from there. It was just one BookToker following turned into another person and another person, and then all of a sudden I didn't want to make astrology content anymore. I didn't even care about that. I just wanted to talk about books. That's all I wanted to do, but obviously people didn't follow me for that. So I decided I was just going to make a whole separate account, and I think I started that last year. I'm going to say April, maybe May. I'm not quite sure. And I was like, my people, because people are obviously coming to those platforms to talk about books, and I want to talk about books. I didn't even care where it was going. I just wanted to have a bit of fun with it. And it was been the best thing ever. You meet your people, as Nesta would say, like calls to like. And
Absolutely.
and that's exactly what it felt like. I was just like, I have found my home. Like it just feels like I found my people. And it was so good.
Yeah. It's interesting that you started in April because you and I started our BookTok accounts in what, like June, maybe? June or July. So not that much later. And it's funny you're talking about like how you were seeing BookTok like kind of start to happen on a previous account, like on your other account.
Yeah.
Because on my like personal TikTok, if you want to even call it that, like I was seeing BookTok content as well. Same for you. And you convinced me, actually, Caitlin convinced me to make my account. And it's just crazy to see, again, like the connections, the way that like these friendships happen. Like, I mean, you and I, Ainsley, have another friend, Hannah, that we're doing this like book exchange with. And like, oh my gosh, it's just been so fun. And like the community that's been created, like, I love it. Like, it's like the best thing ever. And it's so funny because I feel like TikTok, a lot of people have like negative opinions about it. And I'm like, you guys don't understand. This has like changed my life. You know?
I think people are just like not on the right side of TikTok. So then when like I've told people like check out BookTok, they're like, what is this? You know? And I'm like, yeah, this is fun. This is the fun side.
That's the thing. And also, like, if you're in it for the right reasons and making positive, fun content, all you're going to do is just be connected to more people who are making fun, positive content, who are excited. And what better way than, like, you've already got that initial connecting factor of a love of either it be an author, a book, books in general, or a certain series. It is the easiest way to just spark a friendship straight off the bat. You don't need to kind of do the hey, how are you? It's just straight into girl. Oh my God. Like you can just jump straight into the best, most like wholesome friendships.
Yeah.
And actually that's my favorite thing, I think, since joining BookTok is the friends. Like more than anything, of course, the editing and the creating ideas is fun, but it's the people. 100% it's the people that make it for me so easily.
Yeah. I was just going to say, like, in terms of like creating content, I want to throw out like, and have you talk maybe a little bit, you had a really fun original idea. And guys, this is where I first saw Ainsley's content, like kind of popped across my For You page. And I was like, this girl is a genius, to the point where then I was trying to do YouTube at the time. I'm still like occasionally making YouTube videos, but for my August TBR video was like, guys, I came across this like, creator on TikTok and she did a book reaping. And I thought this was so smart. So like, I'm going to tag her video down below, but I'm going to do it now. And like, literally,
LOL.
I didn't think you knew this.
This makes so much sense.
I gave you credit as like, I'll tag her video down below. Like that's literally what started it all. And so then like, here we are. But like that was, I think, was that one of your first videos that got really big? Or what was like, tell us a little bit about that though. Like,
yeah, it was one of the first big videos. I had never been someone who set TBR. I always wanted to be that girl, and I love watching TBR videos because I just love seeing the excitement, especially the like prompt ones, because I'd always get so excited to see their surprise at what they were going to read. But I never knew how I would do that for myself, because I'm always like, how am I going to know what to pick? And it was just through scrolling through a bunch of people with clear little jars doing this little raffle motion that I went, that looks a lot like Effie in Hunger Games. And then I was like, wait, that looks a lot like Effie in the Hunger Games. And I thought to myself, I was like, could I cook this up? Could I make this work? And I think it was a girl just holding like a vase or something that was a bit round, and that's what sparked it. And I thought, what better way to get some of these books that have been sitting forever on my shelves? I'll put them in more times. Like I'll make this like a reaping system, and it'll be a little bit of a play on a book idea within a book concept. Like it will just be a bit of fun. And it was one of the first book videos that really kind of blew up and people were really excited for, which was like, that was really fun because it took forever to initially do it. And the whole idea of the districts as well. At first, I wasn't sure if I was going to do it at all, but then I thought to myself, if I lob myself with 5 straight romances, or I get 3 or 4 literary fictions in one pull, I'm not going to want to do it. I'm not going to want to put this through. So I thought, if I do it into genres, I'm going to give myself choices, because I'm a bit of a mood reader, as most of us usually are. And I feel like if I give myself homework, I ain't going to do that. I ain't going to do that. So I thought, if I give myself little ones, especially series as well, I am a sucker for a series. And I thought, if I start 5 different series, how am I going to just keep moving on from them each time? So that's why I tried to do the little, and it was so much fun.
So can you just tell us a little bit, because you mentioned like how you had books in, kind of like the Effie style, like drawing, but you had different categories, like you were saying, but how many entries did each book get? And like, how did you decide that again?
So you kind of got to gauge it on how many books you've got as well, because otherwise you're going to be cutting pieces of paper for ever and ever. But for me, I tried to minimize how much paper was going to be going into these little bowl things, but I tried to do it on, I think if I had had the book for longer than a year, I should know this, longer than a year, it went in 3 times. If I'd had it for 6 to 12 months, it went in twice, and then anything shorter was just once. And I just wanted to try and get those, those books that just, there's nothing wrong with them. They just sit there. I really just wanted to be enticed or / motivated to just get through them, get to them. And it has worked. Honestly, the things that I have reaped most of the time have been the ones that had like 3 entries. And you better off or worse. They have been like, it actually has been a really good system, but the ways that I've seen other people do it have all been extremely different, and they've done like their own take on it as well. But it worked so well. And I think I had about 70 books at the start of the reading that all went in. Yeah, I had 70 books, but I'm down to like 40 something now. So,
all right. Better than me.
Yeah, and that was another thing. I was like, I really don't want to have this many outstanding books. This is a bit crazy. So I really tried not to buy as many books. Or if I did, they went straight into the reaping. Like, we're getting them done, sort of thing. Yeah.
Well, can I ask, out of the ones that you have read, is there just one that you're like, I'm so glad I finally read this one?
The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang was a real one that, even though it wasn't necessarily like a 5-star read, it has stuck with me, and it was on my shelf for easily a year and a half. And I'm so glad that it got pulled. And there have been, I'm trying to think some of the other ones that were just, Happy Place by Emily Henry. That was in the most recent one. I'm yet to actually finish all 5. I know that it's a divided opinion on that.
You already know, girl. I'm working on it. You know what, though? For February, the month of February, I'm putting Happy Place. I'm trying to do all pink covers, and like, I'm going to try again. I'm going to try one more time. I got stuck. And you know what? Here's the thing. I got married.
Well, I was going to say, she got it as a bridal shower.
Yeah. Yes. I put it on my bridal shower list of like gifts for people to get me, and somebody got it for me. And then Sophia saw it. This is when we started talking about books. She didn't know that I read too. And she was like, oh, I guess I'll just, she didn't get to go. She's like, oh, well, I'll just Venmo you like $15 and go get Book Lovers instead. And I'm like, but here's the thing. I brought it with me so I could read it on my honeymoon, but I read it like maybe 2 days after I got married, and I was just like not like mentally there to like take in this girl. I know. So I'm gonna try it again.
I feel like honeymoon and relationship in peril are probably not the combo.
Correct. Right.
Yeah, you gotta try it again.
So I'm gonna try it again, and I'll let you know how it goes.
That's hilarious. I haven't had a flat out 5-star from the reaping, but that's nothing to do with the reaping. That's just mood and potentially me not loving the book. But no, Happy Place that was a pleasant surprise. I put it off for like a year, and it's just one of the ones you got to be in the right mood for it, 100%. Okay. And 100% got to be in the right mood for it, because I had tried like a chapter or 2, maybe 6 months earlier, and wasn't feeling it, just really wasn't in the mood for it. And I'm so glad that I just waited until I was like, I'm in the mood for like a deep feels, like kind of a, an Emily Henry, situation, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it's just one of those.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of Happy Place, Emily Henry's covers, I love y'all's covers of her books versus what we have here in the States. I don't know. Like, do you like those covers better? I'm sure you've seen the US like covers.
What are Are your ones also like the cartoons?
Yeah, but they're different.
Hold on, I'm gonna get mine.
Yeah, she'll go grab them.
I didn't realize they actually had different covers, other than Okay, yeah. Okay, so same vibe, different colors. You can see.
Cute.
Look,
She's
I'm
a
gonna be
hard
so.
girl. She's a hard cover though. Look at this.
You guys get a lot of hardcovers. A lot of hardcovers. We get all paperbacks. You
I'm
guys
so
get all
jealous.
hard.
I want paperbacks. Like,
I love me a paperback. In terms of her covers, though, unpopular opinion. I think I did say this about. I can't remember what video I was making it for, but I was like, they all look like Microsoft Paint. You know, when you're a kid and you draw shapes and then color them in block colors, and then they look like placeholders for what were going to be more detailed covers.
you know what? You're not wrong.
You know, that's right.
It is a style choice. Also, have you seen though? Funny story. Her next book that's coming out. I don't know what y'all's cover is going to look like, but the U.S. cover, he's wearing Crocs.
Is he wearing Crocs?
He's wearing Crocs.
I don't like that.
Is it the purple covered guy
Yeah.
with the light against the
Yeah. It looks like he's wearing Crocs.
Yeah, I don't know if we're getting the same cover, but I haven't seen any other UK Australian version.
Yeah.
I'm
No, girl, look at this. Look at this.
Don't love that. Don't love that.
This is the cover.
Yeah, that's what they've announced at least.
It's just giving, you know what I mean? Like it's not the what's on the inside. I don't feel like it's a good representation of
Yes.
how, like, Beach Read in particular, I feel like it drops the ball because the book's so great. Book lovers as well. It just makes it look like such a just a run-of-the-mill story for something that so many of us love.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Like, it's Emily Henry. I love your work. I don't love your covers. Whoever's doing your artist's work, I'm not quite here for it. Do you guys like it?
I definitely agree. I know. I mean, I think it's like a stylistic choice for sure. Like, obviously, all of her books have, they have a theme. Whether it's the UK, Australia covers or the US covers. But once you said that, now I can't stop thinking about it. And you're so right, though. Like, that's so funny. Like, I don't hate them, but I agree that they don't really portray the story that's within, Looking at the cover, you think you're going to get into like a fun rom-com-y vibe. And like, no, she just pulls your heartstrings out and you're like, oh, thanks, Emily. That's great. And so like, I feel like you're right. Like the covers don't do the stories justice,
Yeah, for real. Yeah, because
man.
They do. They give the classic rom-com. They're giving that sort of energy, but it's not that. I don't think there's a book of hers that I haven't shed a tear in yet. So it's just like she's messing with us.
Are there any? I mean, I will say like I love. By the way, like I think you've seen me do this too, but like crying over books. Like I love your videos where like with Magnolia Parks especially too, where you post one and you were just out. You were like, don't even talk to me right now. I was like, I love this for you. Like I love how vulnerable you are with your books. Like you're very willing to like show your emotions like with each book you're reading, like especially if it really is pulling on those heartstrings. Like I love that. And I love that you're like, people, read this book. It's gonna hurt you, but read it anyways,
Man, that book sent me down just a sad girl spiral. It was book 3 in all of and it's not in just like I don't know if you guys have read 1,000 Boy Kisses. I don't know if you've read that.
Listen, I tried and I was like, I couldn't get past like the first few chapters.
Really?
But I'm sure I heard so many good things. I just like, I wasn't hooked on it. It also might have been the timing too. But what, did you like it?
At the time, I did, just because of the emotions that it took out of me. Was it a great story? Was it greatly written? Not really. But more so, like, that book's sad just because it's actually gut-wrenching in the sense of it's just a very sad story. But I feel like Magnolia Parks is one of those ones where it feels like it's like pulling on little bits of the human like experience that we all in some form feel. And so it just feels, no matter what you've experienced, there's part of you that you can see in all of these characters, even if they are not the healthiest of characters. And I think that book in particular, I love crying on the internet. Like, I'm going to one day regret that. The digital footprint is like this wide. You can't, I'll never be able to take this back. But I like it because the videos where I see other people having a meltdown, it makes me go, oh, it must be either well written or it's gonna get me.
Yes.
It's gonna get me. I look for that. Yeah. I love that.
Well, that's why every book I see that you cry over, I'm like, I'm adding it to the list.
Because it doesn't take a lot for me to cry, but it does need to have me emotionally invested in the characters. And if the book doesn't have that, it hasn't got me at all. So it's like, if it's got that, plus it can actually affect me in a way that has me crying, I need the world to know about it. I need people to see it, even if it's at my expense and I'm the clown. I don't care. I'll be the poster girl for the person crying for that book.
Yeah. You were talking about the digital footprint. I did just want to ask because like, I think you are been so good at like being consistent with your account ever since you started. And like, obviously your account has grown quite a bit for only not even being like a year of having your account, right? You said it was like April of 2023, which is just like, first of all, I'm so proud of you, Slay Queen.
Woo woo.
We love to see it. But like, I also saw, and I wanted to ask if you are willing to share, that you like had a sponsorship from Spotify and like all these things. Like, how did that like spiral? Like, just to encourage other people that might be like starting accounts or like seeing BOOKTok accounts and be like, oh, I want to have that someday. Like how has that kind of grown for you? You know what I'm saying? Like in the past couple months, in the past like since your account started.
Yeah, that was a pinch me, left of center, strange out of body experience when I got that email. That was crazy. I'm pretty sure I can say everything I want about it. I don't think there was anything I wasn't able to say about it, but pretty much, yeah, it was just an offer to be a part of their campaign for Spotify and to help like get the word out about their audiobooks. And I was just like, little old me. But for anyone who's kind of, I guess, starting, and I also felt that way when I first started my account, it's so easy to look at the big accounts and think, oh, what am I really conversation, or who's going to really need my recommendations, or who's really going to need my content, like whatever it is. But I always think that, especially on social media, there's no pyramid shape to the success. There is so much room for every level of content creator that, like, think about your own people that you follow. I follow hundreds of people and I love what each of them bring to the table because it's something different. And I just think that, one, have fun with it. And that's what I feel like I have to keep reminding myself, is that it's not that serious. Like, until such point that someone one day goes, hey, quit your study, quit your job, you can just read full time. It's about the fun of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the dream, obviously, but it's about fun and being able to do content that you enjoy doing. And that comes to, like, I'm not like, I try to be consistent. There are definitely some weeks where I ain't got it in the tank, but like the fuel's running low, and that's going to happen. But I think the easiest way to be consistent is by not trying to do something that doesn't feel natural or fun for you. Like, if you like doing predominantly, I don't know, book hauls, or if you predominantly like doing reorganizing videos, or you like doing recommendation videos, stick to the things that you enjoy doing, because you're more likely to want to keep doing them than forcing yourself to do a trend that's happening, or
that's so
trying
good.
Yeah, just find your niche. If it's editing, if it's not you speaking in front of the camera because that's not something you'll feel comfortable doing, don't force yourself to do it if you don't like doing it just yet. Like, I just think there's going to be space for your content and people are going to love it. And I think I have to always remind myself of that when I feel like, oh, should I mix it up? Just like find the few videos that you enjoy making and have fun with it. Just have so much fun, because I think the authenticity, it comes through the screen. Like, you know, the people you follow where you're going, man, if I met them in real life, I feel like that's what they're going to be like. You know what I mean? And it doesn't feel like
I love that. That's so good. I feel like it's so daunting. You're right, to like look at the bigger accounts and be like, oh, well, they're doing that, so I should do that. And I feel like with your account, I mean, even like the first few scrolls from the top, I feel like, oh, yeah, she's like my friend. And I feel like that's what BOOKTok is like, you're finding your book besties, but you're also like, oh, I feel like we're friends and we're FaceTiming and she's talking to me. So I love that your content does that. It's so fun. And I love this.
I'll just sit there and like watch your reviews or like watch your videos. I'm just like laying in bed. I'm like, oh, it's Ainsley videos. Like, I'm just, you know, like and the thing is, like, there's also about the authenticity side of things. There are definitely some people that make longer form videos, and I do like the 2x speed. I'm just like, I want to watch it because I want to support you, but like also, you know, like your videos, I just like let play. I'm like, yeah, it's like.
I think also TikTok is definitely becoming that SEO and will probably be up there with YouTube. And I think people are really starting to realize, oh, the longer content, if you do have longer content, also gets me closer to this user and we feel like we're friends, which I feel like is very good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it feels like it's more personal in a way, I feel, than YouTube. Sometimes YouTube can feel a bit like they're this creator and I'm just the mere peasant watching. But But on TikTok, it feels like FaceTime, as long as like someone's kind of talking to you organically. And even if they're not, like, but it does feel a lot more like you're just kind of chatting with your friend about books, or they're just having a chat to you about the book they most recently read. And it does. And like same with your like content, I will literally just be like, oh my God, it's time to sit there and go through it. Because if I follow someone, it's because I love watching what they've got to say and I love their personality that they're bringing or whatever it is. And I just think if you can do that, if someone's wanting to start an account, literally just show up as you, like you're going to connect with people. You don't want people following you for the wrong reasons or for the personality that you're putting forward. Do you know what I mean? So just have fun with it and just be you. I feel like that's just the biggest drive home that I have to keep telling myself all the time is like, you don't need to follow trends necessarily. Sure, they're helpful sometimes, but if you need a little bit of like inspiration, but for the most part, just do what feels fun. Like stick to the books you love to read. Like I'm not a dark romance girly. I'm never gonna be, and I'm happy to like that's just a me preference thing. Caitlin's like could be me.
I know. Shout out to the people that do like dark romance, but I'm like, I'm scared. I'm terrified.
I think it's this. I think it's the skeletons on the cover where I'm like, oh no,
The ritual.
Oh my gosh. But you're so right about like being authentic and like just showing up and like there's, so many different people that I remember, like I said, like I was watching BookTok accounts or kind of putting myself into that world, but for my personal account. And then of course starting up, a BookTok account is when you have a focus, right? When you're like specifically making videos about a certain thing, it's kind of scary to be like, well, is anybody actually going to be interested in, or like, again, like you said, like, what do I have to contribute to an already pretty big world, of this? And again, I think primarily, at least for me right now, it's the connections that I've made, and even though you and I literally knew each other before, like Book Talk literally helped our friendship grow. And like, here we are, like, the way that you and I and like our friend Hannah had like, we've sent books around the world now. Like, it's so cool that like, being brave enough to like start something and just be able to like talk to the camera and make content. Like, you never know who you're going to end up like becoming best friends with, like besties with, like all, like it's a great way to connect with people, and you have to be like authentic, and you never know what's going to happen. Like, here we are. Like, who knew?
You never know what's going to happen. And that's the amazing thing. Like going in with like zero expectations is just the most fun way, because I think getting fixated on numbers or trying to meet certain things, it's like a one-way ticket to not enjoying it. Like, honestly, it's a one-way ticket to just feeling disheartened all the time and comparing yourself. And it's like, it's human nature. But the more that you can just focus on the people, like commenting on people's videos, engaging with their things, you're going to create, like, they'll be the people that you regularly start chatting to, or that you'll message about a book, or you'll find that you like have the same obsession about a certain author or something. And those friendships, like, yeah, truly across a globe right now, we're all speaking because of BookTok. Like, that is crazy. And I'm loving our little book swap around the world. Like, do you know how excited I get for that every single, like, however many months we've been doing it? Yeah. It's like just this breath of fresh air. It's so exciting. So just take the leap. If anyone's listening and wants to make a BookTok account,
do it.
Just do it. I don't know if you're going to be best friend next week. You don't know. Like, it's so wholesome.
I love it. I love this. Like, I'm like, I can't stop smiling. It's just,
Sophia was very excited before we hit admitting you into the Zoom room. She's like, oh my gosh, and this is the first time I'm seeing you. I'm so excited.
I was saying, we've just normally sent like voice messages to each other. Like, we had never actually linked up a time to call. So I was just really excited. But we're gonna wrap things up. But can you leave us with some book recommendations? Like, give us your top, I don't know, 5. It can be whatever genre you want. Like, give us some
your top 5 6-star reads if you have them. I want to know.
Whoa.
Time to put it on the list, guys. Take out your notes.
Okay.
Write them down.
It would be simply criminal to not mention Magnolia Parks. That series just has I know that people exaggerate when they say like, this has altered my bank chemistry and all of those sayings that we hear a million times over. There is something about her writing and the way that she can capture the human emotions that I think we all at some point feel, that series just has such a special place in my heart. So Magnolia Parks, absolutely. The whole series, just absolutely phenomenal. Sounds like a broken record, but Sarah J. Maas, she truly connects everybody that I've made as close friends. It was initially through some form of Sarah J. Maas, pretty much. So Throne of Glass in particular has a very special place in my heart. So I would say the Throne of Glass series is my 6-star. My 6-star in particular, you're not there, so I'll give you one to look out for. The Empire of Storms is personally my Roman Empire, my absolute Roman Empire.
I love that. Okay.
Love that. If I were to, what's a romance book? I don't read a ton of, I kind of scatter romance. So I'm trying to think what's like a romance that's not Magnolia Parks that I can give everybody as something that I love. Manacled, I know it doesn't count because it's fan fiction.
Listen,
know.
I'm in the middle of it.
Okay.
Yeah,
hold on. Pause. You're going to start the auction, right?
I've got them downloaded.
I just started rereading.
Oh my god, are you reading the trilogy?
No, just that one. I haven't read the other.
Hold. Is it a trilogy?
So
all the wrong things, right thing to do, and then so once from like Draco's point of view, then it goes to Hermione, and then I think is the auction a blend? Like it's kind of all third person.
I think it's a blend. Is it the same story or no? Because
they're slightly different timelines, but overall same story. But apparently it drastically affects how you then read the auction, like how you feel about it. Apparently.
Okay, so we need to, you and I will talk about that. I'm going to shift the 6-star thing because you just said Manacled, but do you have another Hermione book for us? Because I know you are in your Hermione era right now.
If you want something that's so unbelievably wholesome and is going to just have you giggling and just swooning, the Draco Malfoy and the mortifying ordeal of being in love. That is quite a mouthful, but the Draco Malfoy and the mortifying ordeal of being in love, it is post-Hogwarts, like 10 years on. Hermione is like a PhD teacher, both in Muggle and Wizarding World. And Draco is an aura who then has to essentially be her bodyguard because she is about to make a very big breakthrough in like the Wizarding. It is.
I'm obsessed already.
It is so well written. That's what I need. Hats off to fanfic writers. There needs to be a separate award section for those people that put in that much. That book was perfect in my brain. It was so good. I was so excited to get into bed every single night. It was just so wholesome and just like, it was perfect Draco, what I expected he would be like as an adult. Just like a bit snotty, but like got just like this gooey heart inside. Anyway. Read it. Please read it. Please.
Okay. Good to know. Give us one more to close this out. What can be whatever you want. Whatever you want.
Okay. If I had to recommend one more like true to me, I mean, I have to say Book Lovers. I truly have to. I think I have to say Emily Henry Book Lovers. The crowd goes wild. I have to say Book Lovers just because of just how much Nora feels like me. and I feel like
literally what Sophia said not 20 minutes ago. That's hilarious.
You and me, girl. We are the Noras of our I feel you.
Yeah, the Noras of the household. It hit so deep. Being an older sibling and an older sister in particular, pain to the heart, but in the most like healing way as well, because it just like I felt sick. I loved it. I loved the way that she kind of challenged quite a lot of romance tropes, and it was just I loved it so much. So they would be my ultimate top of the head 6-star reads that I hope everybody gets a chance to get their hands on. Absolutely.
I love it.
I hope you all took notes, everybody.
Yes.
When Ainsley recommends a book, you have to read it. That's the rule.
Well, Ainsley, we had so much fun. Thanks for coming on the podcast. We are so thankful that you took some time from the other side of the world. Can you tell everybody your TikTok handle so we can follow you?
My TikTok handle is, I believe, Ainsley.Deeble. I believe it's just my first name Ainsley.Deeble, and that's where you'll find me.
Yeah.
But yeah, come over. It's a fun time.
It's a great time, you guys. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. We love you.
I love you both.
All right. Have a great rest of your day. Everybody listening, we love you too.